Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. It's a little late this morning. We had a bit of a snowfall here this morning, so we were out shoveling our driveway, and it's continuing to snow. So I guess I'm going to get more shoveling exercise today. I turned on the news this morning, and I see that a lot of the U.S. is having snow and cold temperatures today. So I hope wherever you are that you're safe, and maybe today's a good day to do some paper crafting, some card making, and I hope all of you are doing well. So today's Casing Tuesday, and that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. And this is today's layout. And I guess I don't know if I really ended up loving the card that I made today. I really do like the sketch, and for some reason I was playing around yesterday morning and I came up with a card, and I had a lot of other things to do, so I came up with a card and I thought maybe I'll come back to it and make another sample, and I never did have time. So we're gonna go with the card that I made today. This is not my card, but that's the original sketch, and here is the sketch to help you with the measurements if you're not already familiar with how big things are. This can be a really great guide to help you create your card. So I'm gonna just hide these. And if you are placing a Stampin' Up! Order during January or February, just wanted to remind you that we're in celebration right now. So for every $50 or $100 you spend, you will get to choose a free product. And they have a lot of beautiful papers this time around, and some stamp sets, and there's ribbon, and there's I think there's some embellishments too, and some dies. So there's a lot of things to choose from in this little rewards catalog. And actually, I'm going to be using one of the products today in building my card. If you are placing an order with me, make sure to use this host code right here, because if you spend at least $50 with me during January, you will be getting a package of the matte decorative dots sent to you in February. And I'm almost done my thank you cards from last month, so I'll be mailing out last month's gifts pretty soon, probably Wednesday. I've almost got everything done, so hopefully those will all go on the mail tomorrow. So you'll get them, hopefully. Some of you will get them by the end of the week, and some of you will get them next week, just depending on how far away you live from me. Okay, let me pop these away. And we are gonna go straight into, actually, yeah, I'm just gonna do my card down here. Let me add a little bit of light. There's so much brightness out there today, but sometimes it doesn't always translate into my work surface. Okay, so we're gonna be using the Be My Valentine bundle. And I did use this on a 3D project last week. It's a really great bundle. And this is the card that I came up with. And, you know, I do like it, but I think one thing that I probably, I don't know, it's a fun card, but I don't know if I made best use of the layout with the squares. I don't know if I maybe should have popped these up on white cardstock instead of using kind of color. I kind of did this color area. This was the balmy blue area, this was bubble bath, and this was lemon lolly, and it doesn't quite pop as much as I want it to. So maybe if I had done white squares in the background here, it would have popped it more. I don't know. There's just something about this card that I think I need to tweak, and my brain's just not at that today. But I did have a lot of fun with my blending brushes, so I'm going to show you what I did with that. So this paper from Celebration is called Most Adored. And I think I'm trying to see if I have my scrap piece of paper laying around here for my blending brushes. I don't think it's Most Adored. And so this paper is kind of cool because it's got white on one side with gold foiling, and then on the back side it has a colored side. So you can really use it for your Valentine's Day projects, but then you can use this gold foiled side any time of the year because you can color it whatever color you want with blending brushes or with a brayer. I'm using blending brushes today because I wanted to kind of have a specific area that I wanted to color. I'm going to grab, you know what, I'm going to grab my glass mat because that will be the best thing to use for my blending brushes. Actually, I moved it out of the way for my 3D sample because I was doing too much clunking on my glass mat. But here we go. This is a very good use of the glass mat. So I've got my piece of most adored paper. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I am going to grab blending brushes. I've got both. This is the regular size and these are the smaller size blending brushes. If I had had an extra small one, I would have done that. But I had this one already was designated as balmy blue, so it just kind of worked out. So we're going to be using the 3 sizes for this project. It doesn't matter what size you use because we're going to be covering a pretty big area. So I have my 3 colors, balmy blue, bubble bath, and lemon lolly. I always start with the lightest color, and I think in this case it would be the yellow. So we'll just start off, and I'm adding color, and then you want to start off and move on. So I'm just kind of working on, and I'm going to create like an area of yellow. And I think I'm going to go like a little darker than I did last time. You know, I don't know. I'm just having fun. And the cool thing about blending brushes is that you are, when you're doing the blending brushes, you're actually brushing off the ink off the gold foiled areas at the same time as you are brushing it onto the white area. Okay, I'm gonna go a bit up here, a bit on an angle. Okay, so you can kind of see how I've like added color, and then it's brushed off the foil right there. I'm gonna try and put it down in the same spot so I don't get too much color mixture on my glass surface. I kind of like to keep my blending brushes to one color, but that's just me. I'm like kind of particular when it comes to my stuff. As I blend onto or over into the yellow, it's okay if it blends on into the yellow here because it's going to be absorbed into the paper rather than on my brush. Yeah, I am going a little bit darker than I did before. We'll see if I like this better. It's always fun to experiment. Okay. And you could do this all in one color as well. It doesn't have to be different colored like what I'm doing here. Finally, let's get the balmy blue going. Start off. The big brushes cover a bigger area faster, so that's the one advantage with a big brush. But with the smaller brushes, you can kind of be a little bit more, how do I say it? Like you can get into smaller spaces better. So. Pick up some of that blue from up there. I'm going to try and blend down a little bit more than I did with my other one and kind of blend into the colors a little bit. It's kind of looking, I think I like the darker a little bit better. This was the most fun part of this card. All right, so there we go. I had kind of fun coloring up the background of my paper. You could go darker or lighter. You know what? I'm just gonna add a bit to the edge there. I noticed there's a bit of an edge there. There we go. All right, let's see if I can put this together. And you know what I'm gonna do? Okay, I didn't wet my cleaning cloth, so I'm just gonna take a bit of rubbing alcohol on a tissue, and I'm gonna wipe this down real quick so I don't transfer color to the rest of my card. Also, rubbing alcohol dries really quickly, so there we go. Should be all good. All right. Let's grab our card base, and this card base is just a basic white card base. It starts off 11 inches by 4 1/4, and I scored in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. We're going to fold that down. Now, you might notice this glass mat, and this is, right now you can only get this glass mat as in the starter kit. It's option 1 in the starter kit. It's called the Glass Mat Studio, and it comes with this glass mat. It comes with a silicone mat that you can put on top of it. I'm just noticing right now that my piece is a little bit shorter. Just a wee bit shorter. Somehow I must have cut a little bit longer. So what we're gonna do is grab our trimmer. Grab the trimmer. And we will slice off this little piece that's overhanging. That did not do a great job because I have this folded side right next to it. Let's just move that over. There we go. There we go. Now it's trimmed off. Okay. So now let's add some of the bees to the card, and we're going to add a greeting. So let's start off by grabbing piece, and I'm going to use Night of Navy for the bees because I like how dark it goes. So I'm going to do 3 bees. So we'll stamp kind of 3 bee bodies in succession on here. Leave a little room in between for each of the bees. Okay, then we're going to, we need to do the bee bodies. We also need to do some wings. So this piece of white is 1 3/8, and this is 1 1/4. Grab this, and we'll just stamp a few wings back to back. Okay, clean this off for a second, and I'm going to come in. We'll save our Night of Navy for a second. We're going to come in. We're going to do 3 colors of stamping. First, we are going to do bubble bath, a bubble bath bee. Close this up. Then we're going to do a lemon lolly. Add that right there. And then we're going to come in with balmy blue. You know, so this doesn't clunk around so much. You know what we're going to do? We're going to put this mat up here. This stays in one place, and then we can just, it doesn't clunk as much as I stamp down. All right, don't those look a little bit like little Easter eggs too, because of the colors I chose? All right, we are going to, before we stamp faces on here, I want some of the faces going different directions, and we can do that very easily just by flipping the bees around, but I need to kind of figure out which way they're all going first. So let's grab the punch. So the nice thing about these little bees is you can face them in either direction because the little body is symmetrical and the wing is separate. At first, you know, sometimes I like it. I don't always love builder punches because I can't do negative punching, like creating windows with that. But what this does allow, since it's a symmetrical bee, I can face my bees in different directions, and that way I can stamp the face in the side or that I want it to, instead of having to face them all in one direction. If the wings had been part of the stamped area, that wouldn't have worked, because then there would have been a definite up and down, but there isn't in this case. So I'm just punching these. This heart does the wings beautifully. Actually, I have to say that this punch was very well designed. I do like the way it was designed, because those hearts are so useful, like the medium and the small heart. And I have not been putting antennas on my bees. I probably should, but I haven't. I've just been putting wings. You can put antennas on your bees if you wish. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I also want to punch out, got little wings, I've got my little bees, and then I want to punch out some hearts in matching cardstock. And that's really easy to do. This is also the punch side that you would use for antennas. If you were punching your antennas, you can punch them out with that small heart. I just didn't do that. Okay. All right. I think we've got everything punched out. Oh, there's one other thing I need to punch. And that is, I need to create a banner. So let's cut a little piece for the banner. The banner is going to be 3 inches long, because I'm going to tuck it behind one of the squares, and by 3/4 of an inch. So let's grab that piece. And I'm going to use my trusty Banners Pick a Punch. I use this so much. So this piece is 3/4 by 3 inches, and I'm just sliding that in there, and I'm going to punch it with that little end. So I've got a little pointy end, just like in the original card. And I'm going to grab my Night of the Navy and see if I can find my greeting. So stamp your greeting, if you're doing this layout, stamp it as close as possible to this end here, because there's not a ton of width on this card here. So just want to make sure it fits. All right. Pop these over here. Okay, I'm making progress. So I do want to stamp little tiny faces on here, and I am going to use the same faces as before. Let's grab my little faces. And I just put away my Native Navy. Let's add these. Okay, so the little yellow bee has this kind of closed eye look. And then the little pink bee has the winky face. One little thing when you're stamping with these little faces, when you do it too quickly, sometimes you only get half an eye stamp. So take your time, press down, and just do a little kind of wobble, not a big one, and not too much pressure. But that will ensure that all the little pieces of the face get stuck down, because it's such a small stamp. You have to make sure you hit all of the little pieces of the face. And it definitely helps to use an A block because it's a small block. Okay, I am moving along. So I'm gonna add glue to each of these wings, just a dot, kind of right where this middle section is, right here, right there. Okay, and then we're just going to scoot this in. Actually, you know what really helps? I'm just gonna, if I still want it to fit on the square, it kind of helps to fit it on the square with the wings so that you kind of make sure that you get it in the right spot. So your wing isn't hanging out. So I'm just going to this one, I'm just using a balmy blue square right here, and we're going to decide if we're going to actually use these or not. Maybe it would be better if I switch them all around. Okay. All right, moment of truth here. So I've got my little guy here. So I was doing, let's move this out of the way. So if I move this down here, this would pop more, but I don't know if I would like it better. So, and then I'll put the pink up here just to switch out the colors to see if it would pop more than my original card. Play around with different things. So let's try this and see what I think of this. The experimentation continues. So let's see what you think of that. So that, you see how the difference is between these? Like this one like pops a little bit more because the bees are in different on different colored squares, right? So I don't know if I like that better. My other thought was, let me just cut some of these real quick. I'll just bring over my basic white. My other thought was to pop them up on white squares. Let's see if I liked that better. So I need 1 3/4. So let's move 1 3/4 over here. And let's cut some 1 3/4 inch squares. Half the time I spent with experimentation, and I feel like if I'm doing a card in my comfort zone, then I'm like usually not having to do this much experimentation. But I think because I was doing like all this blending, and I don't typically do that, it kind of like makes me change up what I'm doing. So then the other idea I had, so this is one idea. I'm trying to see what people are saying about the different colored bees on the different colored squares. So I've got this one, which is yellow bee on yellow square, or we can switch it up, or I got some, or let's see, I think the white might be too dull then. It might pop it, but I don't know. I don't know. Just keep on doing different things, right? I think the white might be too much white now. See, I think that's just a little too much white, and I lost my little pink heart. That is not good. I probably brushed it onto the floor. And then these little guys would go on here like this, and my pink card, which I lost. You probably see where I lost it, and I don't, so let's just punch another heart. Okay. You know what? I think I do want to not use white squares because I'm not loving that. So we're gonna go back to my not quite original plan. Let's see this one. Okay, I'm doing a bit of a change up here. So this one will be yellow on blue. I switched it up yet one more time. So what do we think of that? It's kind of got like a little bit more pop art kind of vibe when I do this. So I'm gonna try this one. Okay, let's go with this one. So I'm going to first adhere my greeting because that has to stay in that spot. So I'm gonna put glue down on here. It's always fun to experiment. And you know, I think the thing is sometimes we're so scared to make a mistake that we don't experiment. And I think that's a mistake in itself, because I think we often do happy accidents, or our brain learns what we like and what we don't like by making some changes. So don't be afraid to experiment. I think even like the greatest artists in the world are experiment, right? They don't just always do something exactly the way that they've always done it. You know, they're not afraid to experiment, and they're not afraid to maybe do something that doesn't appeal to everyone, right? This has definitely got like a rainbow unicorn kind of feel of a card going on. All right, and now we're gonna put our bees on here. I'm just having fun. And you know what? Maybe my greeting, I love you no matter what, is kind of goes along with this card. You know, like it's kind of got a lot of colors, a lot of action. It's got hearts all over the place, and you know, it just kind of shows like the mood of the card really matches the greeting, I think, right? So that's kind of cool. Okay, I know I have lost my mini dimensionals. Where did you guys go? You were here earlier. I have a lot of things on my desk. There they are. I told you I've been making thank you cards. So I've been making thank you cards. So I've got like all my thank you card supplies on one side of my desk, and so I've been busy. Okay, so I've got my little tiny hearts. So let's see, am I going to put the blue heart here, or am I going to put, I don't know. We'll yet experiment yet again. Yeah, I think I like the cardstock matching the cardstock. Okay, I've got a vibe going here. So I know it doesn't maybe show up quite as much, but I think I'll like that matching that instead of matching the bees. And then I'll grab these guys, just happen to match up with the colors that I chose, the pastel adhesive back sequins. So I am liking this card better than my first card, so that's kind of fun. Experimentation. And so we'll just add a blue sequin on a blue sequin. Oh, did I lose the adhesive on that? No. I'll use a gold sequin on a yellow heart, and then I'll use a pink, come on, pink sequin on the pink heart. All right, so there we go. We've got a lot of colors going on, and you know what, I feel like this last mat is spurring these up a little bit so you can kind of see them. So now we've got a little bit of contrast on the second card versus the first card, and so those squares now actually pop on the background rather than blend in, and I think that makes it look happier. I really like it. I'll love you no matter what. It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to say that to people, because a lot of times people have conditions on their loves, and I think everyone should be loved unconditionally by someone, right? It makes the world happier. So, yay! Okay, well, I'm glad you went through my journey here of trying to figure out my card, because sometimes I will make a card and it won't be my favorite card in the world, and I won't ever want to make that card again. And then sometimes I make a card and I love it, and I would totally make that card again. It just kind of depends, and not all our cards are going to be our first loves. But usually when we're doing something, we can tweak something to make it better. So I don't know. I think I'm just going to hold these up here, and you can kind of see... why is it that with the mirrored camera that I have such a hard time getting things on straight, because it's not working as well? But you can see how the one card versus the other card, let's move this way a little bit, you can see like the differences in the way it kind of pops a little bit more. So fun. So much fun. All right, I just want to check in with all of you before we go. Maybe you have some questions about what I did today, and I'd love to answer them. Good morning, Deidre from Mississippi, and Pam. Is Mississippi cold this morning? I heard that Tennessee got a lot of snow and cold, and Mississippi is just beneath Tennessee. So I said hello. Did I say hello to Pam? Hello, Pam. Hello, Mary from Cold, Indiana. And Kristen. The yellow bee seems so happy. He does. I had to do some different colored bees, though, because I was going too many yellow bees, right? We need to be a little bit more creative. Janine says, cute cards. I love these little bees. The faces almost make them come to life. They do. And the one thing, so just remember, you can have the bees facing in different directions. Just punch them out and put them in the direction that you want, and then stamp the faces afterwards. And then you can make them go in either direction, which is really cute. And of course, you can also do them so that they're up and down bees. If you put wings on either side, you can have the face going like in the opposite direction with the stinger facing down. That's another way I've seen them done. I haven't done one of those bees yet. I like the bees on the side a little bit better, but I might at some point do a different directional bee. Mary said both are cute. Marty says, I like that you're experimenting. It kind of shows your process. Oh, I missed some people. Sorry, I need to scroll all the way up. Marty was on here really early, and she says she loves the happy color of the card. And she also says it's snowy and freezing in Pittsburgh, but still not as cold as some of you. And she says, stay warm and stay safe, everyone. And good morning, Deborah from Virginia Beach. And Kristen is from Colorado. And she says she likes how my example turned out. And Mary Seibert says good morning. And Janine says good morning from Indiana. And Sue Mitchell says hello from Texas. And Cindy says hello from Everett, Washington. And she says it's a cute card. Okay, now I'm caught up. I didn't go all the way to the top. Deidre says, I like them on the different color background, makes them pop. Yeah, it's kind of like, pop art, that kind of genre. It looks a little bit better than just putting tone on tone. But, yesterday I was experimenting and that's where my brain was at. Last week at Stamp Club, we used clear embossing folders over the black section of the bees. Ooh, that would make them nice and shiny. That sounds like a good idea. Deidre says white is too stark. It is. It just didn't work. And Kristen said she likes both ways with the color. Agreed the white is too stark. What if there was a mat of white under the colored squares? Yeah, that would go well too. The one thing I found with this is I didn't have a lot of room on the card and I didn't want to go right to the edges with my squares. So if I had matted them up even more beyond just the original square, it would have left very little territory on the room, and I liked the squares at 1 3/4, and if I went smaller on the middle square, it would have been, the bee wouldn't have would have come over the edge. So I kind of, that's why I didn't mat them up. I could have maybe sponged the edges darker, but I do like the way the card turned out. Amy says she's expecting 8 to 12 inches of snow this evening. Yikes. I don't know how much snow we're getting today, but we already shoveled, and I think the same amount has just fallen since I've had breakfast and everything. So it's been a little crazy. Everyone's liking the colors on the bees on the different colors. And yeah, definitely no white. Marty says that the greeting is one of her favorites. Yes, I love that greeting. I think that's how all parents should love their kids, to love them no matter what. That's like kind of I think that's the job of being a parent. And if kids have that, unconditional love, no matter really, well, in most cases, that is like such a strong thing to grow up with, even if you don't have the most money, and money's not really a great example of things, but even if things aren't perfect, having that love there, that supportive love, is such a cool base to build your life on. Okay, let's see. Cindy likes the second card, and so does Janine. Mary wishes me a great day. Kristen says she likes both cards. Denise says, very cute card, makes me smile. Cindy says she thinks she'll be using the bees in a pop-up card. Excellent idea. I've seen a pop-up card just recently from Rosemary Coleman in Canada. You can look her up. She did a pop-up bee card, and it was very, very cute. Cindy said, thanks again, Brenda, for sharing. And Marty says the snow, Pittsburgh makes Pittsburgh's 5 inches look tame. So yeah, Amy, I think you win today for the amount of snowfall you're getting. We'll have to see how much you actually get. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I will be going live again on Friday, so please join me then. And I hope you all have a great day. Stay safe and stay warm. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.